PTF and Mike Pribozie back with you on the In the Money YouTube channel. And also there'll be an audio version wherever you get your In the Money Players podcast. We're here to talk about Kentucky Derby points action. Racing returns to Churchill Downs under the Twin Spires on Sunday. All 2-year-old card. Really interesting stuff. If you like baby races, Mikey P, does this race have any extra significance to you as a Derby prep because of where it takes place right there at Churchill Downs?
Absolutely. I do think horses that get over that racetrack have an advantage when it comes to Derby time. And I'm always looking for horses that excel over that Churchill surface because it's a little different. Some horses prefer it, other horses do not. Sometimes even horses that get over the grass can do well on the Churchill dirt. It's a different kind of surface, and it definitely does influence my opinions when it comes to Derby time.
That's interesting that you mentioned horses getting over the grass, sometimes liking it, because we have a favorite here in the form of Tiz-tastic installed at 3-1 on the morning line that I think is a little bit interesting in this spot. Not going to ultimately be my pick. We'll do some picks towards the end of the video. But let's start by talking about Tiz-tastic. The Asmussen barn, as sometimes happens at Keeneland, has been cold. Sometimes they wake up real quick when they get back under the Twin Spires. And this one has a dirt pedigree by Tiz the Law out of a Tappet Dam. Very interested in this Winchell Thoroughbreds runner to see what the horse has, bringing a 2-race win streak to this. Deep closer. There is plenty of pace signed on. I think this runner is live. I'm ultimately going to lean elsewhere, but I think you have a slightly more cynical view.
Yeah, I just think the 2 races back to back at Kentucky Downs. Now, obviously, it was very fruitful. I mean, made $742,000 so far. Raced very well there, and was against the track and raced well. But now to be able to double up those 2 races and then come back here on the dirt where maybe that this horse hasn't excelled so far, I do think at a short price is one that I would want to oppose.
Another horse that I thought might be the morning line favorite we'll talk about next, number 8, Comes a Time. Not sure if that's a Neil Young name or something else, but this one's raced just once in the Northeast, got the job done at 7-1 at the maiden special weight level. Comes here, stretches out in different distance, goes up in grade. How serious of a contender do you think Comes a Time is in this spot?
Well, anything Brad Cox does put out on the track is a contender. But for me, again, I would take a negative approach. Rookie Card was 2-5 in that race there on September 21st at Aqueduct. And this horse had the absolute perfect trip. I mean, Rookie Card was tested early by a long shot, was able to sit off and then grind down the favorite in the stretch. I don't know that this horse could ever get a better trip in its life. So those are ones that I look to oppose next out.
Another one who might benefit from the projected hot pace, at least on Timeform US in this spot, number 4, Sandman, son of Tappet, out of a Distorted Humor Dam. Flopped the first time going a mile at Churchill Downs, but had some excuses in there. Didn't break great, ran into one in the form of Jonathan's Way. I was thinking this horse could be shown to better effect, potentially closing second time going long over this track. Again, not my pick, but one I thought was certainly worth discussing. Do you give Sandman any count?
I mean, anything that Mark Casse sends out, you do have to pay attention to. And this horse has certainly taken its share of money. I mean, was even money first time out at Churchill for maiden specials. Showed up at Saratoga and was a nice winner at 2-1 and definitely improved there. 81 figure. Enough to try the Iroquois against Jonathan's Way. And this horse was 5-1 in that race. So certainly a lot of people do think that this horse is legitimate. I mean, they paid $1.2 million for this one. I think it's interesting that they show back up in a stake. But another one that's kind of, I think, has to prove it to me and probably is shorter on the board than I would like.
I can see the logic there. We're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to come back with our selections and some thoughts on long shots in this one. But do want to let you know that this video is brought to you by our friends over at Twin Spires. You can celebrate Breeders' Cup Week with Twin Spires and get your money back if your horse finishes second or third in selected races. Opt in at Twin Spires. Twin Spires money back. You have to opt in at the website. Go to twinspires.com, download the Twin Spires app, and make sure you're betting the Breeders' Cup with our friends over at Twin Spires. All right, time for the rubber to meet the road, my friend. Why don't you go first with your selection in here?
So my selection would be the 7, Dapper Moon. Now, this horse raced really well, I thought, at Saratoga on August 31st. Was just slightly off the pace after a decent, I think, maiden race first out, and was able to power by and win by 5 lengths. Then that was enough for Dallas Stewart to show up in the Breeders' Futurity at Keeneland. And this horse had a wide post, was very much into the race early, was chasing East Avenue, who totally galloped in that race. Now, this horse raced okay chasing, ended up fourth late, got beat by Ferocious. That one was certainly well bet into that race. So now you show back up in a stakes race. No give up here. I do think this horse will be forward again. Probably gets the right trip. 6-1 morning line. I do think may come down a little off of that, but is a very big player, I think, in this spot.
I wouldn't hate to see them not go as forward as they tried last time, just in terms of pace figures. Dallas Stewart does such a good job training horses to sit and finish. This one maybe has the natural tactical speed not to be too far back in the pack, but either stalk and pounce or maybe mid-pack close kind of trip. He was one on the short list for me, but I'll go with the number 10 runner in this spot, Sovereignty. There's a little bit of guesswork in here, and I'm relying on the Bill Mott barn to rebound. That's another one that's been very, very cold this autumn, hoping maybe rebounds as we get to late autumn with the change of scenery. This horse I thought ran deceptively well on debut. That was a track I thought that was favoring speed. Not much was expected, 11-1. Came back, bet hard in the manner of a horse that had been working well and was supposed to be stepping up the preparations for that mile test at Belmont at the Big A. This one got caught sort of doubly against it in the terms of this was a slow pace, a race flow that favored front runners, and also a race track that was favoring front runners. Horse tried all the way to the line, finished with, I thought, something in reserve. I think this horse in this spot, another one, could get that kind of mid-pack sit or potentially second flight kind of trip and could be seen to good effect racing down some tired ones here. I think you're going to get on this one. I think you're going to get all the 5-1 of the morning line when it comes to this maiden Sovereignty for the Bill Mott barn. You buying what I'm selling with that one?
Absolutely, very much like that one. And that racetrack on September 27th did favor the rail. That was a big rail day. The winner in that race went wire to wire. This horse raced very well there to be beaten a neck. Godolphin Mott shows up in a stake there as a maiden. I do think definitely a big player here.
For this one to be 5-1 on the morning line, I wonder if there isn't some clocker buzz or other positive vibes around about. We'll see how it plays out. Before we get out of here, though, anything at a bigger price that you might consider either as an alternative win play or one to hit the board for bets like exactas and tries?
Yeah, just one long shot that I am interested in, and it's the 3 Baby Boat. Now, this is James DeVito, ships in from Hawthorne off 2 straight wins. If you watch that replay from October the 6th, this horse maybe took a while to get going 5.5, but whenever he did, he really kicked in the stretch, came through on the inside to win nicely. You get a stretch out now, you get an inside post with a jockey that likes to be forward. You got a top side that maybe this horse could go longer. I just think very interesting at 15-1 morning line that they show up in this spot. Now, may not be able to win it, but I do think he could hit the ticket.
Ambitious placing, but one that you're going to get paid if he's able to get there, going from being that big fish in the small pond at Hawthorne into the deep end of the pool here in the grade 3 street sense with Kentucky Derby points on the line. But I'm hearing what you're saying, especially for underneath. Don't mind the idea of mixing in some threes at all. Mikey P, thank you for your time today. Thanks again to our friends over at Twin Spires. Reminder, you can play the Breeders' Cup Betting Challenge over at Twin Spires. And there's also feeders and qualifiers for the returning Kentucky Derby betting challenge, twinspires.com. Click tournaments for more details. Mikey P and PTF. We'll be back soon.